Hillary Allen, welcome to the Singletrack podcast.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We are recording this at an early date in January, but you do have some breaking news to share. I saw on Instagram that you'll be leaving the North Face. Maybe we can start by talking a bit about that because you were a mainstay there for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet. I've been with the North Face since 2015. They were my first, big sponsor, and they were with me through a lot. They're with me, through some incredible highs in my running career as I kind of broke out onto the world scene, specifically like in Europe and racing sky running races all over the world. And then, through my accident, they really supported me through that, through the comeback. When I wasn't sure if I was actually going to be racing.
Yeah.
So not only just like the athletes on the team who've become my family, and helped me grow as an athlete and an individual, but, to the employees that I got to know while working with the North Face and, really understanding what it means to be a professional athlete, but then also just a member of the community in the athletic world, but also the trail running world. It was just an incredible, valuable experience. And yeah, but I think, I think in life not to use a stupid quote, or like a metaphor, but, it's like just different chapters in life. Right.
Mm.
And that's, I think, what this is. It was an incredible one. But I think it's, now I'm ready to move on to the next one, and I'm excited for what that is.
It's a great ride. In this world, I feel like people are changing jobs every year or every 2 years. 7 years is a long time. Yeah. Are you able to say where you are headed next? Because you're right in the middle of like the peak of your career, it seems. So there's a lot to be done still.
Yeah. And so thank you, because that's how I feel. And so it's a bit, like I said, bittersweet to move sponsors. And I'm a very loyal person. I can see I would have liked to have my whole career with one brand. But that's just not how this one worked out. But yeah, where I'm going, I'm actually going to join the Brooks team. And what I'm really excited about is that it's a brand that's rooted in running. And I think it's an incredible opportunity, as they're, trying to burst onto the scene on trail. And this is in the US, sure, like they're maybe more known for road running. But the ironic part is that I actually ran my first road marathon in a pair of Brooks shoes. And I won Speed Goat 50K back in 2000, I think it was 16, in a pair of Brooks Pure Grits. So this is actually kind of funny because I was sponsored by North Face at the time, but North Face didn't make shoes. And so I was able to run in different shoes, and Brooks was like my go-to shoes. So it's really funny that now they have even more trail shoes, and they're really looking to expand their trail team. And I'm so excited to be a part of it, and what Brooks stands for from a community standpoint. I'm just excited, and like they're really big in Europe, and I love to race in Europe. So
Yeah. I know this is breaking news and your relationship with them is new, but do you have any insight on like what type of investments they're making in the trail running world? Because like you said, they're very well established, very strong reputation on the road scene. There are some notable athletes. Scott Jurek is like a legacy
right.
Athlete for them. Is Kat Bradley an athlete there too?
She is. Mario as well.
Okay.
And he obviously Brooks is based in Seattle, but they have athletes all over the world. There's a couple, I'm not sure when I can say this, like some other athletes that are coming onto the Brooks team, which I'm really excited about.
Okay.
Camille Mayfield is on it as well. So they're
Yes.
really looking to build it out. There's some new ones that I know of, but I'm not sure if I can share it yet because I don't know when
That's
they're
fair.
going live.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I think it's just a huge opportunity. So like from an investment standpoint, Brooks is partnered with the JFK 50. It's an iconic, yeah, it's an iconic race. And yeah, and I think it's like, the perfect there. I think it's really interesting because there's been a ton of runners, coming from the road world and, kind of getting sick of that and then going to the trails. And I think, races like the JFK 50 is like perfect. I remember Zach Miller, right? He used to be on Nike. He was on North Face with me for a couple of years. He had one of his debut races as an ultra runner at the JFK 50. And then from there, he butted into his more love of mountain running and things like this. So I think, it's like races like that or, comrades, like that can kind of, it's ultra running, but it's maybe a little bit more road-esque and then trying to encourage people to kind of go onto the trails more and maybe more mountainous. And that's kind of where I come in because Brooks is huge, at least, the trail running portion of it in Europe. And that's like really where I just love that type of mountain running. And yeah, I think it's going to be really cool to see, more investments in different events, but also races, but also I think community events. And I think that's really where Brooks sets itself apart.
Have you already plotted out what 2022 looks like for you?
In the process of, I mean, because like changing sponsors, every sponsor has like a different need for their athlete team of like where they want to show up. For me personally though, UTMB is an important race and I'm definitely going back there, especially after what happened this year. And so kind of using other races, to support that. I'm thinking about actually the Gorge Waterfalls 100K.
Yeah.
It's cool to race local. It's also, a good friend of mine and now colleague, Dylan Bowman over at Free Trail. He helps, we're basically under his umbrella over at the Trail Society podcast. He's doing great things for trail running in the community and him and I think it's Cloud Run or something.
Oh, Rain Shadow.
Thank you. Rain Shadow. They're in collaboration and they acquired that race. So it'd be really cool to support them. It's been it's hard. It's more runnable, but it's been a pretty important race for the Pacific Northwest. So maybe, going back to Speed Goat, trying to do some things locally. I have a few adventures planned, some bike races. But I really like to adventure and train. I don't necessarily need to over race.